welcome to Investing Insights. I'm Vivian Deniz. Here with me today is Victor Bryant, CEO of Highbank Resources. Thank you, Victor, for joining me today.
My pleasure.
So to kick off, can you give us a little bit more information about your aggregate project in BC?
Yeah, Highbank Resources is an aggregate company that is on the Portland Canal in northwestern BC. We have a 43-101 compliant deposit of 68 million tonnes, and we are perched or positioned in an excellent location, ideal for any expansion that takes place in the Port of Prince Rupert. Prince Rupert, as you know, is undergoing a major expansion. There is something like $35 billion worth of construction going to take place in that area in the next few years. And every construction project needs aggregate, of course. Mm-hmm. We have sufficient to do more than this, and also to export to the Asian market, which is going to become one of the Prince Rupert areas for export.
That sounds good. So you say aggregate, and I don't know if a lot of investors are very familiar with what aggregate or gravel used in construction is. Can you give us a little bit more about that?
Aggregate is we're at the Investors Show where everybody is talking gold and silver. We're not sexy at all. We're a basic commodity that is used in all building construction. You can't make concrete without aggregate. And you can't obviously expand port facilities, load-out facilities, LNG facilities, which are going into Prince Rupert, without aggregate. It is basically hard rock. It's at a particular size. Something like anything under half-inch material makes aggregate. It needs to be of a certain hardness and quality to meet the criteria, otherwise the buildings don't stand up to weathering, etc. We just happen to have this deposit which meets all these requirements.
So recently, you actually had West Fraser Concrete purchase 100,000 tons of aggregate from Portland Canal Swamp Point deposit. Right. What kind of commitment does this represent for Highbank?
Well, this is the start of what we see as many orders. It's very hard to obtain orders until you have your operating permits in place, and I guess we'll get to that in a while. But it is important, it's very significant. It represents the fact that people do have confidence in our future, mm-hmm. and that we are a commodity which is not readily available in the area, but also the fact that we can ship at a very cheap price. We're on tidewater, and otherwise, if people want to import any aggregate, it has to come in by road and then ship, and it becomes very expensive. And unlike gold and silver, the value in aggregate is in the actual aggregate itself rather than the metal. So shipping is a big part of the cost. And we're cheap. We're on water, and water is the cheapest way of shipping.
That sounds like you're pretty much set up for something good. Your project, you said permitting was the next step. Do you foresee any challenges with getting permitted, or do you think...
we already have our license of occupation. This was granted last week, and following on from the license of occupation is the operating permit. And as part of our license of occupation, we also have to submit a management plan, and that also has been approved. So we don't foresee any problems in getting our operating permit in place. So we will be in production this summer.
That sounds like you're full steam ahead.
Yeah, no, we're all set to go.
How about the BC government's $25 million Pacific Gateway transportation strategy? How does that play into?
Oh, this is significant. Let's say the government are very keen to expand the Port of Prince Rupert, and say there is a $35 billion commitment to increase the facilities, with the potential to expand this even more. The Gateway project, if the pipeline doesn't go ahead, then the next obvious thing, which is already being talked about in the press, is the expansion of the rail facilities. And railway lines require ballast to operate on. And again, the aggregate we produce is ideal for this purpose.
Does the railway line also facilitate shipping to different markets?
Well, we will ship to Asia from Prince Rupert, and also it does internally. There are several large mining operations which will be starting up in the interior, and it is easier to ship actually from our deposit up to Stewart, which also is undergoing expansion incidentally, and then either we will be able to rail or road transportation to these new plants that will be operating.
So I guess in 2013 investors can really expect production from
Highbank. They can indeed. Since we got our first permit, the stock has just taken off. Our volume has increased dramatically, and the price is closed at 10 cents on Friday. So we're gung-ho to go.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for joining me and telling me about your project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Once again, that was Victor Bryant, CEO of Highbank Resources. Highbank trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol HBK. I'm Vivian Deniz for Investing Insights. Thank you for joining me.